preview here. We'll look at the dashboard here. Alright, up and running on Restream. I think we're up and running on Twitch. And I'm sure YouTube will follow shortly. Welcome to the stream, episode 181. Let me make sure this camera is in the right place. Alright, today I want to do something a little different, something I've always wanted to be doing, which is to plan things out a little bit. And there's two main things. There's, well, Puzzle Thumbs is like an idea that popped in my head. This is the work I've started doing in the last couple of streams and was rudely interrupted. I rebooted the computer, I hope, and rebooted all the network equipment. I hope that'll do the trick. And that's a request I probably won't be looking into. I created a little repo, and I want to see if I can use any of the repo stuff here to do that. And I think I can just use issues to plan things. I think if I create an issue here, I think that eventually ends up in all the other planning related tools. Because I've worked a little bit on this in the past. And I was looking at Photopea because they're using a separate repo just for issue checking, which is kind of what I want to do with SudokuPad. And I have a couple of repos open for that sort of thing. Let's see. We have a wiki here. I have a feeling the thing I'm looking for is not under this organization. Yeah, it is not. It's probably under GitHub. Gilroy42. Was it a project? Or is it under projects here? Projects, SudokuPad, repositories, projects. Okay. But is that a separate repo? So something like this, for example, would that exist under a particular... Because this is an issue somewhere, right? Ah, no, not yet. Huh. I thought there were others. God, okay, I'm not gonna do that now. Okay, so I can have projects here. Let's just use the track to do specs. I think let's try this. Let's just create an issue here. And we'll just call it, what shall we call this? So this is basically just a task, something that I've been wanting to do for a while. It's basically to create thumbnails for the puzzles and cache them and basically create them asynchronously, i.e. not live on a user server, but just have one image per puzzle stored somewhere. And to create them, I've always been working on, I have an online API that does it, but internally it's a huge mess because it's basically running Puppeteer instances and there's always a problem, and I've never gotten it to run reliably and well. But I know it runs well in the browser, and I need to run it only once, technically, per puzzle, and there's a lot of them. So what I want to do is create a bit of a client-server thing where basically the server knows which thumbnails need to be created, and it can basically dish them out, you know, as a set of 10 or 20 or 100 as a task. And then I'll just have a script on the client in the browser, and I can just open one, and it just requests from the server, runs them, generates the thumbnails, and sends them back to the server. And I can just open as many of those as I want, let the computer run overnight or whatever, you know, and just have it be brainless. So it'll just always work. It's just like you press a button and it does the thing, right? So we'll just call them a puzzle. And what do I want to call it? Not just thumbnail generation, but like the concept of them being asynchronously, quote unquote, offsite, i.e., you know, I could run them on my computer and then just upload the images to the server, right? The server, I don't need to use server resources, right? Hey, KLV shed or sked. Is that like schedule? It's probably something I can't pronounce. So I'm just gonna do it like this. And can I create something here? So I want to create a short description. So a simple client server system. Client server system to generate puzzle thumbnails in the browser in batches and upload them to the server in a semi-automated way. Boom. You can suggest it. Obviously, on the Discord is the best because that's when other people can see it and they can let you know if it's already in the plan. And there's places online, like if you want to get into detail. But you can put it up here in the chat and I can let you know what I think. And maybe if there's a better way to put it formally. Just remember that in this chat it might get lost. So you might have to remind me if I don't recall this. Components. So let's see. Can I just do something like this? Server component that has a record of existing and needed puzzle thumbnails, as well as a way to determine if a thumbnail is up to date / correct. Needs to be able to serve batches 10 to 100 of puzzles with missing thumbnails to a client and receive back the generated images and update its records. Boom. Oh. A client component that client browser component that requests a batch of puzzles from the server, generates thumbnails and sends back the images. Needs to be able to be run in run as, and I think this is super tiny, as multiple instances. Notes. Server should track. So for example, if I open 2 of them, they shouldn't get the same batch as the next batch, right? Should track. Whoops. Nope. In progress batches to avoid double serving them, but should time them out as well. So for example, it shouldn't serve a batch that's been handed out to another client, but I might close the client, right? So it needs to be able to time them out and say, hey, this batch was given out more than an hour ago, so I can give it out again, you know, that kind of thing. And server should manage quality and manage specs of required images and inform client Server should sanity check provided thumbnails to so, you know, like a client doesn't just upload 10 megabytes of data or whatever, or get or a 0 byte file or something. To ensure what's the word? Not quality, consistency. No. What's the word? If something needs to be good. Hey, Chameleon. Hey. Well, because I've been thinking about it, mostly because of some satisfactory playing I've been doing recently. Is that well, I've known that my planning has been bad, but I haven't figured out a better way of doing it. And I had written down a note for something satisfactory, and it really helped me to get this job done. And I feel like it was a very different kind of note than from my usual to-do lists, which generally don't actually help me to get work done and just seem to get in my way. So I want to, you know, so I should send check provide something to consistency. What's the word? Kind of why you do error checking on a data stream. Not correctness. There's a word. God, I'm losing my English. What's the word? Hey, DD Benny, how are you doing? Can I request a feature here? Thanks, I was hoping to be able to copy paste the completion message. What's the word? Why do you have a checksum? To ensure something's correctness, yes, but integrity. There we go, integrity. There we go. All right. So, I'm gonna just submit this, just to have it written somewhere. And now we're gonna do the same thing for this. So this is something that popped into my head. And I'd like to do it, but it's not priority right now. So by putting it in here, hopefully I won't forget about it. Famous last words. So we have the 9x9 custom layout. Now that's the highest priority because they've been waiting for it. And we've made good progress, but I've been stalling a little bit. So let's see. Custom layout to support project 9x9 streams and videos and help kids solve in a simplified UI. Boom. So, and this is already bad. I need to improve that. So the problem we have is we currently have the controls updated, but we now need to scale the UI better. Because we're moving this to a different position, so now everything's a little bit off. And I'll probably just need to rebuild the scaling mechanism here. And I think I might actually need to look at this at sort of normal screen size, maybe quarter. If I do this and it's kind of like this. Yeah, it should be all right. So, isolate, yeah. Get scale and size. No, actually, do we care about the current size? Determine required scale for controls. So we need to figure out what the scale should be. Positions, control, reset, actually. Reset controls position. Set new controls position. Update rules style. Set new rules positioning. And then we have the other thing. Add title /author to top bar. update delete / undo / redo positioning 6 complete color scheme. I think that's kind of, if I get to this point, then I can hand it over to them, and then they can give me feedback based on that. So let's dive into that. And I'm gonna put this down here. And I did a bunch of this stuff, so let me see. There was... Okay, I was looking at the button thing, but I realized I can't just do this, because this doesn't work correctly that way. So let me just clean that up from the last stream before I remove it. So I've basically started working inside update keys 2 here. So if I get rid of update keys and rename that, I think the diff shall guide me. If I do this, now the diff should help me with that. And I'll just leave in some comments on the change I'm working on. So instead of just completely removing that, I'm just gonna comment this out. And then instead of... So this was the old one. Okay, so if I do this and bring that back, that's the only change. So let's put a to-do here. To-do. Remove Mac OS meta key aliasing. But he wants it to work from Control A, so that obviously doesn't quite work. But key CTRL plus A behavior, which obviously you cannot have it some alias sometimes, not other times. So that's gonna be the tricky one. But we can commit this as a it's a comment, right? So I don't actually have a problem with putting that in there. And now we can go back to the project 9x9 file. Why am I itching? Is chat still working? I haven't seen a chat message in a while. Oh, okay. Kelvi Schked, you are on Twitch and everybody else is on YouTube, so you probably didn't see each other say anything. Why don't you... can you just explain what the feature is? I'm not sure what you mean by pasting the completion message. All right. All right, so let's see where we were last time. Ooh, it's been a mess because my streaming setup kind of broke down the last couple of streams. You cannot okay, you mean let's solve this. 4 3 4 3 2 1 2 1. Okay. I see. There is the copy button. I can't show you on this interface. There is there's this feature which is currently in experimental. Cell copy paste. So you can Control C, nope. You can cell copy paste it. Oh wait, it's a button, isn't it? Is this under advanced? Copy button. Yeah. So I can do this. I can press this button. And then, you know, I don't know if that's the kind of solution code you're talking about. I think the time was originally... The problem is, right, that the copying of the time was requested originally for people to post it in the Discord channels. So if I copy more information, then now they'll have to edit that message after pasting it, which of course means it doesn't really save them much time. But on the other hand, what I could potentially do is I could potentially have some special markup that I recognize that actually adds a separate copy button, like a piece of markup that adds a copy button next to that piece of markup. That's maybe not a terrible idea. And that could even work for the rules or for anything else. Let me put that down as an idea. I'm just gonna write idea special markup for rules / messages to add copy button for section of text. Because that would even be more useful, because then you can copy a specific aspect of that. I think. Well, Chameleon, you're asking because I'm guessing he's considering adding. Like, I think it could be useful for all sorts of things, right? It could be, something as simple as adding a message or, a completion code for Logic Masters Germany. But it could also be, the what they often say for like puzzle packs, like digits to enter on the next thing. It could even be a URL potentially. Like if I don't allow links, but maybe I let people copy a URL and then people can paste it in a browser, It's an idea. Like, for example, James Sinclair has artisanal Sudoku in his description. And yes, people could copy this whole thing and then edit it out, or he can have a little copy button right next to it. Almost as good as a link, right? Yeah, so we need a restart for this, because I don't have a restart button here. Oh, you can restart from here. Okay. Maybe we don't need a restart button. All right. Let us figure out where these controls are and where everything is happening. So if I clear this. All right, so get orientation, and then that's probably happening to resize and all this stuff. So we have center board, we have align controls. So the center board happens. If I remove align controls, what does align controls currently do? Okay, and if I remove center board, it'll be the default layout. Okay, all right. So align controls currently just kind of moves them over a little bit. So if we don't do that, but we execute those two, the controls end up here. All right. Okay, so we want the controls on the right side of the board, so we need to figure out where the board is, how big the board is, yada, yada, yada. All right, so let's do that next. Where does this big line come from? 168. Let me just silence some of this shabaminess. Did it? Like the board centering works fine, right? That's the scale. So we need to figure out where the board is. So BO element, right? And then we should be able to get this transform. So board element, get transform, board element. And that, what is that going to get us? Which feature are you talking about, Chameleon? The copy of text or this custom layout that I'm working for building for Project 9x9? Okay, so we're updating the transform here to 0, 0, and left and top are unset. Why does that bring the board to the center, though? Huh. Interesting. And parts, where's this from? Oh, from set transform. Okay. I probably wanna do that. All right. So how do we determine the size of the board? We can get bounds. Is that gonna be okay with the scale in mind? So we can do some of these things. Why is this required? Layout controls flipped. Controls flipped. Controls? What? Feature layout. Layout controls flipped. Okay. I guess we'll need that reset. That's probably to override something that the layouts tool does. I'm working on a custom layout for the Project 9x9 site, which eventually probably will be embedded in something like this on their site. And it's a simplified interface where kids basically will solve puzzles and then over time unlock additional controls. And it's basically a prototype to also kind of test potential customization for the user interface in the future for the app itself. Because the current layout algorithm is garbage. So if I can rip it all out and replace it, that would be great. All right, so we are looking at the board bounds. I'd like to look at them at least. Right, that's the board bounds. So left, right. So if I set the controls to right, okay. So if I look at the controls information here, so that's controls bounds, and this is the transform of the controls element, right? So, and right now the problem is the controls include the rules. So probably let's try to reduce some of that stuff out of there first, because we're gonna rip all those bits out. So dot controls info is basically just gonna be hidden. Or is that what we're gonna reformat and move to the other side? Huh. Controls info. So if I do controls info, that's controls the whole thing. And if I do CI, we'll have dot controls dash info. And if I do CI dot style dot position equals let us also kind of just do this. I think we're gonna have to position this absolutely and pull it out of the flow. We're gonna just do left 0, right, top 0. Yeah, because right now I think it's being positioned relative to this. Yeah, position absolute, because I think one of these has position relative or something. Yeah, so controls itself is positioned absolute. Board is positioned absolute. So what is this being positioned relative to? So here it says 159, here it says 0. Minus 100 px. Yeah, it just puts it out there. How do we get it to actually properly get pulled out of the flow? I don't think it has a transform on it. Or we don't position the controls at all. We position the controls buttons directly. Wait a second. Is controls info right now also positioned? One second. Controls, or the whole controls object right now, it has these bounds. But what is our top and left and all that at the moment? If I put this to 0, it'll go over there. 0, it'll go over there. So maybe we'll position this at 0, 0, and then position the sub-elements separately. So if I can move that here. If we set this like that. One concern I have is this is obviously not the top of everything. Why is it here? Do we have to get rid of the flex styling? That's the question. Or is this... we have a transform. Okay. So, if I do this, right? COT. If I do this, so we get the COT transform here, and then we'll do that's controls transform, do this, and do that. Then the scale is maintained, but the positioning is being reset. Now the puzzle itself, we didn't do this. We have width, height, position, absolute. Why is the board differently affected than the controls element? Or is the board technically the same? Is it part of the transform effect? So if we look at the board here, width, height, scale, left unset. It's not 0, it's unset. So if I do... Let's skip this one here for a sec. We're kind of doing a reset here, aren't we? I think I'm going to pull this one out of here. Because this whole thing we're doing a couple of times. So we'll probably put that in a function. Kind of like a little reset function. So now it's aligned relative to the board? Why? Okay, so that's probably because of the flex display. Now, one of the problems is... Good luck with your internet, Chameleon. One of the problems is that I'm using the flex to do some of the scaling. And if I get rid of the flex, I might have an issue. Okay. Well, let's keep things simple. Let's look at the board bounds. So we have an X and a Y, right? And let's... first of all, let's do something here. Let's do outline 20px dashed magenta. I just want to have a good reference where this thing is, right? Okay, so this is where the controls thing is. And if we move that to the right edge of the board, And let's look at our template here. Bottom aligned. All right. Okay, 1 second. So, does this do anything right now? No. Ah, wait. Because this is the thing that's doing the thing. Boom. Aha. So we are transformed here. And in fact, it's this. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to use transforms here or if I if I rely on this being at the edge of the board, is that useful, you know? But we can do something like this. We can make a little helper function here. We can just say const reset transform xy obj or yell. Boom, right? And then we'll just do these couple of steps here. We'll do that. Yell, delete x, delete y, set transform on the element. Boom, done, right? Then we can just say reset transform COEL. We don't need the temp variables or any of the other stuff. Is that doing something different now? No, okay. I can just get rid of that. If I do this, I'll get that. And if I do this, I get that again. All right. And then we can do the same thing up here. So we'll do this. We'll do that. We'll do that. All right, that should be the same. If I don't have this, what do we end up with? This. And then if I use this instead, yes, okay. That cleans things up a little bit. All right. Now we said we want to move it to the right edge. Let's put these up here. And what we wanted was BO bounds. So BO bounds dot right. Forget this for a sec. And this. I think there's a dot right property in here. Let me look at the Twitch inspector. Is this gonna show us what's going on? All right, so this looks good so far. All right, I'm gonna keep an eye on this little thing here. So far, this seems to be working. In fact, I'm gonna put this somewhere where it's just always open. It's gonna cover something somewhere else, but I just want to know. Here we go. All right. So right is 843. So if we do this, and we'll just say right, it's gonna do this, like that. Really? Really? Do this. It goes from nothing to this. Oh, it's currently not set, so we don't know what this might do. So instead of doing that, we should probably reset some stuff first, right? So the controls currently have position set. Except here it says unset. Huh? Wait a second. Control element dot style. Right. And then we'll set it to this, and it is that. And it sits over here suddenly. Oh, it's not right we want to set. Left, we want to set to the right of the puzzle. Right. Okay. Oh, here we go. All right. But do we want to do it on the controls or the sub-elements? Probably the sub-elements, right? Now, the other thing we want to find is we want to find the space we have here. So, technically, space. Let's see. Right space. So that's technically the width of whatever this element is of the game board. Right? And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull these out of these sub-functions. Because I think these are universally useful here. Like that. And then we don't have to do all of that. Because these aren't going to change. Right. So the right space is game bounds dot right. I think minus whatever, right? So if I do game bounds dot right minus bo bounds dot right. No, the other way around. And then I'll just output that. Oop. I think we don't need this in the moment. So I think we're going to just figure out from scratch where it's supposed to be. So the space on the right is 315. And if I look at the sub-element, the CI, controls information, is the cell copy button not in the live version or in blind? It's on beta currently, but beta is going to get released to alpha, to production pretty quickly because it's been there for quite a while. Probably before I push any of these things. All right. Reset. So let's see what we got. We need CI bounds as well. Because now I want to know how big this is so we can adjust the scale. Do we want to reset the scale completely? What if I do set transform to nothing like that? Does it scales undefined scale? Translate if these are undefined. Translate that transform part. So this is the transform unscaled, right? If I look at controls. Transform origin, yeah. But other than that, the transform is unset. Okay. My brain. I gotta get my head around this. So, if we are... I think we're best off just resetting everything to 0. So if I do this, reset that to 0. And instead of setting it to that... In fact, we don't even need this now. Because we can just set transform to nothing. Transform none. Right? But then instead of these two, we are actually putting them to 0, 0. Like that. Right. And then we're kind of, hey, rad dude, how you doing? Then we're gonna kind of do the same thing for the CI element. And obviously, everyone wants to clean it all up. I think that'll be fine. If I can do something like background, RGBA 255 025 0.1, something like that. Uh, 0.5. Ooh. It's up there. Oh, okay, that's the info stuff. All right, so we have the info. And then controls buttons. So we have CI and we'll do CB. Buttons. So the info area, huh? Okay. So the footer is separate. That's fine. We'll probably just get rid of that for now. So, for now, controls, footer, display none, right? And then this other stuff, yeah, we'll put that in the style sheet. Ever using considered AI for help? I've tried a couple of times. Hasn't been particularly great. CI, and then we'll have CB. Same thing. All right. And now we kind of want to move. For now, we're just gonna move CB. Right. GI bounce right. Pixels. And it doesn't like that. Oh, because it needs to be left. CB. CB is gone. Where did it go? They're all the way over yonder. Left, top. Left. 1161. Game bounce right. Yeah, no, that's not the right one. Board bounce right. There we go. Okay, and then the bottom will be maybe aligned with the board. So we'll be able to say bottom, and it's gonna be same as the board for now. Later on, we'll worry about putting all the margins back in. Apparently not. Board bounds. Game board bounds. Bottom. Board bounds bottom. 584. Where's the background color on this thing? Controls buttons. X. Top 0 background. The height here somehow. Oh, because top and bottom is given? But it says it's 0 height, which doesn't make sense. Get rid of top here. Bottom. Because right now that's just 0, 0, right? What if we take its own height and just assign the top? So its own height should be in bobounce.height, right? So top will be that. minus cbbounds.height. CI CB. Excuse me. Minus cbbounds.height. Okay. Does that not include those extra buttons? It should. Let's get rid of that for a sec. And let's see how this goes. Height 300. Is it though? Bottom 603. But is that taking into consideration the transform? What is the transform on our board? So we have a transform. X, Y, 0, Y. Scale is that. I have a feeling, does the X and the Y, does that make sense, right? So if we look at, like, right space is that. What is left space? Because it should be the same, right? So it should be GA bounds dot left plus dot left. So left space and right space should be the same. They are. And the bottom of is 603. And the board, sorry, the game bottom, which is here-ish, bottom should be slightly bigger. 603, 617. Okay. So if we're putting this, its own height above the bottom, where's its own bottom, so to speak? So let's have a look. So CB bounds. Control bottom. Control bounds. Right. Okay. Just making sure I'm not mislabeling something here. So now the bottom here should be 586, which are distinctly on screen. So this is incorrect. But why? Top is 2845. What? Is there a transform in its ancestry? Transform none. Controls buttons, controls info, controls. Transform none. Game. So these are not transformed in any way. And the game isn't transformed. These don't add up. If I look at the computed, will this give me a bottom? I'm not sure if computed stuff. Minus 678. That doesn't make any sense. Top. 30. Top. 0. 300 pixels. What's its height? Height 375. CB bound. So board bounds bottom minus control button bounds height should be the top of this. So the bottom should be near the bottom of the board. All right, let us look at some of these in order. Let's hide these for a sec. So we have this. We have these. And then the new top will be that. So if I do this, what does that look like? 302. So the bottom is 603. The height is 300. Is the height 300 though? Didn't I just look at it and it said something else? Height. Now it says 275. Ah, wait, that's main. Control buttons. Height. 375. So my height calculation here isn't correct. Okay, I'm using the bounds function, which is, I think, determined in utilities or in root script. Bounds. No, it's in utilities. So bounds should be iteratively calculating get client bounding rect. Actually, no, literally just calls that. Is there a problem with the bounds before and after? What if I say bounds CBL dot height instead? Like, does it change? Do I just need to update it or something? Bounds CBL. Oh, geez. There you go. Okay, so I just need to recalculate them because they've changed after all these updates. Okay. Or in this case, I can actually literally just calculate them right after here. So we're not using them for this reset. And again, this reset is gonna get folded away. Ah, okay, now we're talking. And the bounds of the bottom include the padding of the board. So if we start using the padding, yada yada. Okay, so now what we actually want to do is calculate the scale according to the vertical space, right? So, and we did that right space calculation here. So we have right space and left space. And then, and let's ignore the left space for a sec here. So we have right space is 308. And CBL CB bounds dot width should give us an idea, and then again, we'll add map margins, all that stuff. So the current width is 214. So let CB scale equals larger divided by smaller gives us a larger scale, right? Yeah. So it needs to be the 308 divided by 214, and it'll be 1.5 or whatever. Right? And that should be the new scale, after which we have to recalculate everything, right? So now, if we do a set transform, and if we do a set transform CBL scale, that should make it bigger. But it'll reset some of the other stuff, huh? Or not. That'll make it bigger, and now we have to position it according to the new features. So if we'll do this, is the new CB bounds correct now? So after that, the new CB bounds dot width is 214, so it'll be exactly what our right space was, more or less. Okay. This stuff isn't gonna work anymore because of the scale difference, right? Because our scale offset is blah, blah, blah. So we have two options. We can either do everything via the transform, or we'll probably want to change the scale offset to be top left. And by scale offset, of course, I mean the scale, the transform origin. Right. So we'll do transform origin top left. Like that. Oh, look at that. And it fits perfectly in that space. And now once we've at the margins and so on, it'll be more sensible. So for example, if we say top minus margin, boom, right? And if we say scale is this minus 2 times margin, plus 2 times margins. We want it to have the margins, right? And then we'll add a margin to that. Plus margin. And here we are. So it's a line at the bottom. It's centered. It's not quite centered because it's basically centered up to the edging, the empty space next to the puzzle here. Can we do anything about that space at the top? I don't know where that space comes from. Like, these things are not there at them in this layout, but we're reserving space for them. If I remove them completely, so if I say controls, controls dash buttons dash controls app display none. No, we still have that space. Do these just have a margin at the top? Yeah, they just have a 1 REM margin. That's fine. We are lining them by the bottom, so we don't actually care. All right. So that's working. So let's do the right side as well. Do we... I think we want to do this, right? So const reset style. And it's basically this. Right, and then we'll just do that. And I think we do the same thing for these. Like that. Oops. Goes there. Alright, that should reset that styling. Then we get our bounds, then we do our calculations. We update the bounds, and then we position that. All right, and now we basically need to do the same thing with the left side, but we also want to reset the styling. But first, let us position it, right? So that's the controls, and let's do the controls info. So that's CI, right? So we'll do the same thing, kind of on the left side. So we'll do we'll calculate our left space. So we'll do left space equals rebounds.left. So we can just do that, right? Dot left. And we'll do ci.scale. Now, the only thing is with CI, we don't actually want to change the scale. We want to literally just position it. Like, so that's going to work a little different, actually. According to our template, it's going to be top align, huh? All right, so we'll do ci.style. And for now, we're just going to do top. And it's just going to see board bounds.top without a margin. The margin actually accounts for the spacing on the thing, doesn't it? So if I do this and I say margin here, and ignore this for a sec. So that'll make it visually centered, except on the left side, there's this little part. Is that a margin or a padding on the right? We have a margin there. Flex row. This looks like some sort of... do any of these have weird margins? No, it just appears here. But it could just be because of the way the flex thing works. Get rid of the margin. Flex direction row, start. Play flex. Like, none of that seems to matter, actually. I'll get rid of all of that. And we'll have to adjust for the height as well. Okay, let's I'm gonna have to do this. So CB, we'll do a little bit more here. In fact, I think we can just do this, right? Display block. If I do this, look, you should get rid of the flex stuff. If I do background red, just so we can see the weird extra spacing, right? So if I go here, display, am I not overriding display here? Controls main, controls input, controls main, controls button. Ah, okay. So controls main. Alright, let's put it in here for now. Maybe later on, because I'm also considering that I'll have to probably undo all of this stuff later. So I gotta be careful. Main, display, block. If I do this, does that get rid of the controls buttons? I'll do some debugging here. Background, RGBA, 255, 0, 0, 255, 0.1. To do that, I'll see where things are. Yeah, so that gets rid of that. And we kind of want to get rid of the top margin as well while we're here. I've been dodging it, but yeah, we just want to get rid of that. The margin is on what? On this? Or on controls main? Margin top 0. Right. And now we need to do our scale according to our vertical space as well. And our vertical space is the puzzle height, really. Right. So, left space. We have right space. Let's hide some of these. Boom. Right space, width. And then height space equals board bounds dot height. That's gonna seem weird, but that's it. And then the height would be CB bounds dot height. So, for example, right, this height is higher than our height space, except it's not. But it will be afterwards, after the update. right? 531, yes. So we need to calculate the scale. CB scale. That's our horizontal scale. And our vertical scale is going to be whatever our available height is, which is controls buttons, no, which is bounds.height divided by this, right? So we have scale that, scale that. Right. CB scale H. And then we'll do, let CB scale V equals this. And we'll probably have to add a margin in here somewhere as well. We'll figure that out in a second. So we'll have this one, V, and the min, which is going to be just a plain CBS scale. Math.min. We got to have it fit, right? Horizontal and vertical. And now we'll do this, and then it'll do that. Yeah, but the margin here isn't getting scaled. So if I get rid of this margin for now. I think we have a bit of a problem here because there's probably some extra spacing. No, there isn't. Wait, board. Ah, that's excluded there. So it's already bottom aligned with the thing. Okay. All right. So on the width, we definitely want to add margin because that just aligns the right side here. Yeah. And that we want that to be aligned in non-scale. Oh, maybe we do want it to be aligned in scaled space. Like, do we want this to be the same as that? I think this is in board scale space. Because it looks like this looks bigger, right? As the board gets smaller. So we need to scale the margin by the board scale, which is a bit odd. But it is what it is. So we should be able to do something like BOT equals get transform BOEL. And what's that value again? It's 1.714. So we would have this divided by that. Make it smaller. Let's just have a look at this margin value. I think it's supposed to be 32, right? CB scale is not a number. Oh, that's scale. Am I getting this wrong? BOT.scale. So 3217. As the scale gets smaller, the margin gets closer to the actual value. So it's the reverse of that. So we want this. Now the margin is 57. This is not 32. This is a quarter of a cell. Huh. Yeah, that's a quarter of a cell. So that's times 0.5 times that. So let's call this something else. Let BO margin equal this thing. Right. The board margin. So the board margin is normally 16. And then it kind of gets bigger and or small depending on how big the board is. Let us ignore the horizontal, sorry, the vertical scale for now. So the right spacing should look the same as on the left, but it doesn't, because as the board gets smaller, that spacing gets smaller. So I think I was correct the other way around. Ah, wait, no. Okay, wait, am I not using the BO margin yet? BO margin. This feels like it's double that. Right space is that minus the BO margin. Wait a second. What if I set the left to this minus that? Then it should exactly align with the board, right? At any size of board. Exactly. Okay. Now, if I remove this, it's going to be, the margin is going to be on the right side. Okay. Now, if I subtract this, no. If CO bounds.width plus BO margin plus 2 times BO margin plus minus 1 times BO margin. You see, it doesn't work consistently. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm getting wrong here. Because I feel... So, let's hide some of this stuff here. I'll need that. We'll hide that. We'll do this. CB bounds width. So CB bounds width should take up right space eventually. So, let's get rid of all of this. So right space is 256 pixels wide, and this is why this transform stuff is just freaking driving me crazy. So like, why is there an extra movement here? Now I don't have it. All right, anyway. Right space is 256. Margin is 36. And what is CO bounds.right? We have game bounds.right, and we'll have board bounds.right. So game bounds.right is one, board bounds.right is that. Right space is one minus the other. Right, and right space is 256. And then afterwards, CB bounds.width is 268. Because I'm trying to be clever with the margins. Now, if I don't do any of that, right? Width is 256. So now the width is exactly that space. So it's if I add 0 margin. Just do that, right? So now it's the same space, but because I moved it over by 1 amount of margin, it doesn't touch the right side. So if I do this, it should be touching the right side, which it doesn't. Now it does. Okay. Now, if I were to scale it into that space as if the space was larger by that amount, like this, it should scale, it shouldn't fit anymore. Because it's 0. If I make the space artificially larger by that amount, and then if I now shift it over, minus this, now it should be touching on both sides perfectly. And I have to see why it doesn't do that the first time I refresh. Okay, now it does that. Now, if I make it smaller by 2, relative to this, by 2 of these, right? Now we should have twice that margin available. And if I split that in half, if I say plus 0 times that, now it should be centered in this space. And that space should be consistent against scaling. And it is. Okay. Hey guys. Now, why is the bottom not staying aligned correctly? Because I am doing something with margins here, which I shouldn't be. Minus CO bounds dot bottom. Bottom. BO bounds the bottom. Okay, so let's do this for a sec, and this, and this. And now we'll output board bottom, which we already have here. And now 644 632 628. Top is bottom minus CB bounds dot height. So I feel like it's not adding the margin here. Okay, now it looks correctly. Okay. At least after the second time after a refresh. All right. And now we want to bring back the horizontal and vertical scale stuff. So instead of this, all right, now we want to find a vertical scale. And it's basically the bounds height divided by this. But I think the bounds include the 2 margins. So we want to do minus 2 times BO margin. So the top should touch the top of the board and the bottom should touch the top. And apparently it excludes the thickness of the line of the board. Yeah. And I think that is now accurate. And it's top, bottom aligned with the board. Okay. And later on we'll have to check about what that looks like with boards that have like outer arguments and stuff. Because we'll have to figure that out. All right. All right. But at least that gets us the scale here. All right. Height space, right space. Can I do this? I can just move that in there. Boom. Boom. I don't know why it needs an extra refresh there. Anyway. So, now we need to reformat all of this stuff on the left side. And I think we'll start with doing some we'll do some plain old CSS styling here. So we'll go puzzle header SVG display none. Boom. Right. Let us move it down. I think I just did a style reset, right? So we'll just do a top 100 pixels just to get it started. How long is the stream so far? Because so far the quality has been rock solid. So maybe the reboot was what my computer needed, which is a bit sad that I didn't just reboot. And it occurred to me when I realized that it was 4 weeks. 1 week I didn't stream, 3 streams in a row, but 4 weeks worth of streams where I had the problem. And when I checked the uptime of my computer was 29 days. So it was exactly that, which is just so silly, right? So, the puzzle title we'll actually hide. So we don't want the puzzle title. So dot puzzle title. Is that header? Is that inside header? Header selectable. Yeah. So that's also display none. And then we'll have puzzle author, I guess. Puzzle title and author. So we might as well do this. Right. And then the red part. Oh, it's just all of puzzle header. Ah, no. It is all of puzzle header. It's inside controls info. Ah, that's annoying. No, it's not annoying. That's, Jesus, that's exactly what we're doing. All right, so dot puzzle info, puzzle header, the whole thing just gone. Because we're only interested in the rules text. But I've done it wrong. Puzzle header. Oh, controls info. Controls info, puzzle header. Gone. Thank you. And now, destyle this. So, puzzle rules. Or is that under controls info? Or puzzle rules directly? Puzzle rules. So now I'm gonna have to start looking at the style guide, which isn't here. Okay. So we have the branding guide. So do we have background colors? Navy, blue. Don't actually. So if we take something like this, neutral. So if we take something like that, for example, we'll say background color like this. It'll look like that. Rounded corners, maybe. I think their branding is quite in that styling. Maybe we'll add like an outline with that color. So for example, we can do border 0.2 rem that. Something like this. Border color. Wait, am I barking up the wrong tree here? Border width. Sometimes forget my CSS casually, just like that. Puzzle rules, border color, border width, 10px. Boom. Border color, border. What am I missing? Border top. 10px solid red. Okay. Border 10 pix. Okay. Border. We needed the solid. Boom. There we go. Now the scroll bar is a bit annoying. CSS scroll bar rounded. Now, we might be able to get away without a scroll bar by simply saying, hey, these puzzles need to have whatever, you know? Rounded effect. Box shadow. Insert scroll bar, track, thumb. Should mission to our hope refer on the comment mark post to solve things. Should CSS accused? Maybe get a better answer. Seems Chrome 1-to-1, scroll by width, scroll by color properties. Having them present the style files makes properties irrelevant. Remove those to solve the issue for me. You're still working on the project, blah, blah, blah. Make scroll by thumb and track with round. It doesn't work anymore. No. Scroll bar border radius. Yeah, the scroll bar kind of blocking over the edges is a bit horrible. So we'll do overflow hidden. But then the scroll bar is also hidden. All right. I think we can at least start positioning it now. So the top should be the top of the board plus BO margin, like that. Then left would be BO margin. Or do we want to keep those margins consistent? As it gets smaller, that margin will shrink, which is a bit weird. I don't know. We can't have it both ways, right? So, right is going to be BO bounds dot left minus BO margin. Okay, that's weird. BO bounds at left. Do we need to set a width instead? Wouldn't it be minus BO margin times 2, though? No. That's kind of fine. I don't know if we'll want to have it centered, ultimately. Or just lower down. Okay. But that's actually a good start. I think we actually want to look at the next step regarding the style guide now. The branding guide. Oh, and what are the other items? We said title in the top bar. I think those we'll actually have to insert as elements, right? So we'll have to do that when we do init layout, start, init layout, init settings, init layout, init title. So const tbel equals, you know, the usual. Top bar. So, and then what does the top bar have in it? Top links, game click, menu, top links, game clock, menu. Top links currently are hidden by styling. And the game clock is over there. And we want to have something for the game clock. All right. So insert adjacent. I guess we'll do game clock, right? So we'll do query selector dot game clock dot insert adjacent HTML before start, and then it's just gonna be a test div title / div. If I do this, the value provided is not of before begin. We need to capitalize the B? No. And now this title should be in the right place. Okay. So we'll do class equals top bar title. And we should be able to get the title quite easily from the puzzle. How do I do that without shooting myself in the foot? That's the question. Because it can be in a variety of different places. So I think title puzzle.title, create doc title, title author, puzzle author, yes, puzzle author, puzzle title, puzzle author. So I'm guessing we'll just pull them out of puzzle title. I could have sworn there was like a get titles sort of thing. All right. Const puzzle equals frame app. Is it current puzzle? We'll find out. App current puzzle. So dot title author. That we don't need. All right, I think that works for now. So then we can just do title author. And then we'll worry about, you know, special case and all that stuff later. We'll do that. We'll just do span class equals puzzle title. If I do it like this, I'm probably picking up all sorts of styling from elsewhere. Yeah. Top bar. Top bar. Header. Top bar. Title. There we go. And then we'll do by author. Something like that. All right. And now we don't have a design for that, but maybe we'll have something in the branding guide. So we'll probably just want to upscale, downscale, yada, yada, right? So we'll do something like author, font size smaller. Boom. And we'll probably want to position them centered. Up bar, what did I call it? Header? I already forgot. Yep, header. Up bar header. Can I just do margin 0 auto? Will it center like that? Problem is, where is it gonna center like that? I want it centered relative to the puzzle. I might actually just position it absolute, right? Position absolute left 0. Left, okay. This is ridiculous. Left 0 with 100% padding. Or just text align. If I do that, it'll get centered over the puzzle, but it won't wrap on the small screens. But for now, you know, I need to get feedback as well. So now instead of the purple, what would that then be? Primary? So now we need to change some of these vars. So for example, if this is top bar, background var, main color. So if I say colon root dash dash no var dash dash no, how is this set? Ay style main color. Ah, just like that. Okay. I can just do that. Is that enough? Is that enough? No. This is not enough. Why do I think this would be enough? So it needs a class to work. Or a scope, I guess. So maybe colon root after all will work? No. Where is it originally defined? Where is it defined originally? I thought it would be something like colon root. Ah, no, these are the ones. Okay. How do I override these then? So if I look at the colors. Hey. Oh, you're taking Toby out now? Okay, okay. So we have root, and then we have style attribute. I search for main color root, and then it gets overwritten by the specific theme. So if I just do something like this, important, would that still get overwritten? Yeah, okay. We probably want to add a style to this, even though it doesn't have a setting. So it probably won't be a setting style. But just to help with the cascade. Or can I just scope it to an HTML element, like HTML, like that? And that would override the class selector? No. No. Okay, we want to add a class. So we'll do something like body element class toggle layout 9x9 true. And then I should be able to just use that. And I don't think I need important anymore because it's just a single class selector. Yeah. Right. That color is here. I can get rid of that. Ciao, guys. And now, this is where we end up. And if I go back to our branding guide here. Now the question is, what about all the other colors? Are these supposed to be accent colors? I don't understand. Okay, let's do the buttons, and then I think I might call it a day. It's getting super late. So the buttons is, this one has a half-sized version that's used for the color letter tool, bunch of different places, right? So if we go for the color tool, custom colors? No. It is a tool, so it's under tool color. And then somewhere in here, it's changing the size of the button. Let us see if we can do that quickly. So if I say enable letter tool, here it's shrunk. So if I then look at this button, so this is the styling, huh? Okay, so if we go straight to this, and we'll just say width 4 rem, right? That doesn't do the trick. Why does it not do the trick? Is it getting overridden? Width 4 rem. Do we need the flex as well? Okay. So now, oh, and the 0 button needs to get hidden. So we have a 0 button to hide. So it's gonna be data key equals 0. Display none. Okay. Now the undo redo, we kind of want to move it in front of that. So do we want to literally just, or do we want to move that over and move these up? I'd like to preserve the structure of the DOM if I can. So if I just take that, so if I say controls input or controls aux, is that part of input? Nope. Controls aux, right? And then if I just say top or position relative or absolute, if I do that, right? First of all, it's going to get knocked out of flow. And then I say bottom 0. Bottom 0.3 rem. I think that's the space. No. Double that. No. Somebody has extra spacing snuck in. Controls info, controls. Do we have any kind of weird margins here? No. Controls app gone. Here we go. Controls main. Controls main tool. Controls main has an extra. This tool should be gone. So controls margin 0. Okay. And then this 0.3. No. Bottom. Ah. So if I then say right 0, left or margin left 8.3 rem, 8.6 rem, 4 times 2 plus 0.3 times 2. Ah, plus an extra margin on the far side. But is it a half margin or a full margin? Could be a half margin. Yeah, it's a half margin. Okay. So it's 7.5. So 8.75 rem. The buttons should work the same way. Okay. But oh, something broke. Reading title. This is probably a timing thing, right? Init title. Author. So we have this. And then we'll do that. And I'm guessing we are here too early and the puzzle isn't ready yet. And when it is, it works. And when it isn't, it doesn't work, like in this case. So we'll basically want to wait for puzzle loaded. And that's why then we need to redo the layout or something. If I have done waiting for puzzle loaded. What I don't know is if it triggers if the puzzle has already been loaded. Loaded, unloaded. Like, how do I make sure it's already been loaded? p.handle loaded. So we'll do if framework dot, and the start happens without any kind of thing. Okay, current puzzle. Boom, boom, boom. This dot in title. Else. Unloaded. Else dot app dot yada yada yada. Puzzle unloaded. This dot handle loaded. Boom, boom, boom. Do it only once. Off. Right? Okay. But the button stuff doesn't seem to... So we'll probably want to redo that. Can we just do this? App.puzzle off is app.puzzle off. Okay. App puzzle. App. Framework app. If current puzzle, else puzzle on. Token. All right. But then it does that. So we probably want to redo this. Init settings, init controls, init. So we want to re-execute init controls after this as well. No, actually, no, we don't do that. We just want to trigger a resize. So we want to do app.trigger. Actually, app.resize should be all we need to do, right? And resize app.resize, yeah. So if we do that, all right, we'll have to see about being able to trigger it more quickly. But that gets us the chunky buttons. They might be a bit too chunky. We'll have to see about that. We'll probably want to have a max size on the buttons. And I don't know about this. We'll see. But it's a start. It's a start. All right. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Can get rid of all of this, I think, for now. Don't need that. Don't actually need any of that. We'll think about that later. Can get rid of all that. I think this isn't being used now. No, it is used for the scale. All right. Can get rid of all of the pin 2 stuff. Okay. We want to get rid of that. Oop. All right. I think that's actually pretty good. Obviously, we'll need to do a few more things. Ooh, that's broken. How come that is broken? Oh, because our thing is overlapping. Can we Z order down? Puzzle top bar header. Z order -1. If I do that, can I? Top bar. Top bar. Wait, menu? Where is it? So this one is the order -1 it doesn't like. 0. The order. Oh, Z index. God damn it. All right. I don't know how negative Z indexes work, to be honest. Because I think here it's just pushing it behind. No, but here it's just not present at all. I don't know how that works. So some timing issues here aren't being handled well. I'm sure I had a call, like I had to figure out a way of determining if a puzzle is being loaded already. But on a quick search here, I don't see it. Help it load it, handle init, handle init, handle load it. Like sometimes this seems to get run after and loaded. Ah, maybe because it's the async here. So if I do this first, and then I'll do that, that always gonna be reliable? Maybe. Okay, now the menu works. That works. The copy paste button needs to be fixed. Restart needs to be added somewhere. But for now, that kind of does the thing. The thing we wanted to do. Alright. Just get rid of that. I think there's a call in here too. Nope. Alright. Don't need that. And the get orientation thing. Get rid of that too. All right, let's solve this. So this can't be 1, 2, 3 of 4. That's okay. So this one is a very easy one to get started. Okay. We'll probably want to do some stuff here, get rid of some of these details. All right. So I think that's finally some freaking progress. I like it. I'll probably push this to beta, but I'll probably want to do the update to beta first. So yeah, this is clean at least. It's a separate feature. All right, that's it for today. Looks like the stream was working as well, which is nice. What's the time on the stream? It is... How long did we stream? Anybody? You want to tell me? Exactly 2 hours. Awesome. It worked smoothly as it should. Excellent. All right. And I really don't see anything bad. Like, I'm looking at this inspector from Twitch. I don't know if YouTube is... YouTube just tells me stream is healthy. Okay, so that's super not useful. And enable auto stop off. Okay, so I want to try that. Awesome. Thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. I'm happy the stream worked out finally. Seems like there's something my computer was doing badly. I don't know. And it was a bit, you know, it was putting me down a little. But we're back on the train, in the saddle, on the boat, where we want to go. That's it for today. Thanks for hanging out, and let's do this again soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for hanging out.